You know, all those rules I keep telling you don't exist? I broke them all. G'day. Scattered among my videos, even as far back as 2019, I've been trying to work out in my mind, and with you guys, why photography has been hijacked and become this really technical thing about sharpness and bokeh and all these things that totally circle around gear. And it's moved away from what photography really is, which are capturing moments in time that mean something. That's sort of been shoved out the door, and all we're doing now is being tech heads. So going through thoughts about that sort of paralleled what was happening with my own journey in photography. Up until COVID, things were going swimmingly. There was work around. I was regularly out earning money with my cameras. While doing that, of course, I was taking photos for clients. I wasn't taking photos for myself. And part of what I've been going through over the last few years, you'll see with different videos, is working out how to take photos for myself. And that's a key part of this journey that we're going to talk about today. But the other thing that happened is when all lockdowns happened, all of a sudden my work dried up. There was no work, literally gone, all of it. So I was getting pretty close to retirement age anyway. And I thought, well, here's a chance to cut back. Here's a chance to ease off taking photos for other people and start using my cameras for myself. And this wasn't a clear thing to do because I've been taking photos for other people for so long that I had to figure out how to take photos for myself. So these two things sort of ran parallel. What was happening with photography and what was happening with my photography. Because the photography world in general had been hijacked by all the gearheads and tech heads, and my photography world had been taken over by clients. So now I have to work out where photography should be, what it should be, and then what my photography should be. Now if you go through some of my key videos, and I've got them all linked in the description below, about half a dozen of them over the last 4 or 5 years, going through things like we are being conned by people who just want to talk tech gear and people who try to tell us that there are all these rules and you're doing the wrong thing and your pictures aren't sharp enough. And I wanted to see whether that was true. If it's not, how wrong is it? Where did it all go wrong? And how can we fix things? So part of the journey was looking at the great photographers of the past that everybody thinks and universally acclaims as being good. And for an awful lot of them, you look at their photos and they're not going by the rules. They're grainy, they're blurry, they're out of focus, they're crooked. Technically, they're not good. You know, if you put those photos into a evaluation light or a judging light nowadays, they'd just be canned. So why have we come so far from those renowned photos that made us feel something to nowadays where we're all pixel peeping into the corners to see how sharp a lens is? What went wrong and what can go right? Now I can't change the photographic world, but I can change my photography, and that's what I've been doing. It wasn't easy when all the photography work stopped because of the pandemic, the lockdowns, everything, all the events stopped and everything. From that time on, I had all this photo gear. I wanted to go out and take photos, but I had no reason to because there was no work. So I had to make my own reasons, taking photos for myself. How do I do that? I haven't done that for so long. What do I like? So I had several years of exploring what sort of photos I like to take and what sort of gear would be good for that. And on that journey, I was finding that all the things I'd been told about, and we are told about photography and how to do it right, ain't necessarily so. So bit by bit, I was exploring how to break out of the confines that people put up, the walls people put up around you, saying you mustn't do this, you must only do this. How do you get past that? How do you climb over those walls or break through them? So bit by bit I was able to explore other ways of doing things and get rid of all the expectations and rules and ways I've been told I should take photos. And finally, I went on a photo trip to Melbourne the other week, and I spent the night there in the city doing my street photography, but with a difference. I went totally against all the things that people were telling me were the rules of photography. I didn't just break them, I smashed them. And what I came back with were photos that really spoke to me. They totally went against everything people told you a good photo should be, and I love them. So let's have a look at them. One thing people tell you is don't figure off people's backs, and try to get them when they're walking towards you on the street. And that's fine, but sometimes having people walking away is part of the story. So you can do it. Blurriness. We are told to avoid blurry photos, and that a blurry photo is no good. What I find is blur can enhance the mood and feeling of a photo. It can give you feelings of busyness, city life, the fast pace of people's lives around you. Another biggie is don't blow out your highlights. You'll lose all that detail. So, what is wrong with that? You're walking around the city, there's dark areas, there's bright lights. Why can't you show that? This is mood, this is feeling, this is part of the story. Being overprotective of everything in a photo can sterilise it and get rid of all that storytelling and feeling that is in the picture. So, many circumstances, don't worry about your highlights, because when there's a bright light, it really shows that it's bright. As well as don't blow out your highlights, and don't lose your shadows. We don't want dense blacks, we want to be able to have detail in the shadows. Why? It's dark sometimes in the city at night. What's wrong with darkness? Don't forget that exposure triangle. Get your shutter speed right. Have a lower ISO. Use your aperture properly. We want clean images, nice and sharp, no blurriness. Oh, sorry people. I really enjoy that blurriness. I want the blown highlights. I want the grain. I want to break all these rules and expectations that are put on you by people who tell you what you should be doing. So I embrace the blurriness. I embrace the camera shake. I embrace movement. I embrace the grain. I embrace the highlights blown out. They all went together to give me mood and feeling in these photos that I would not have gotten if I'd followed the rules. Now in the end I came away with a lot of photos that I was really happy with. So happy with that I've gone and made a 50 odd page book that I've got limited editions of. I've also got some A3 posters of one of my favourite photos of the night out, and they're limited edition as well. If you want to buy a signed and numbered copy of the poster or one of the books, see the details below. So there you go, after several years of trying to work out how I would like to take photos now that I'm not taking photos of other people. This journey has been quite an interesting one. When I started I thought, how long is it going to take me to find something I'm really happy with using my camera? Well, it's taken 4 years. That doesn't mean this is the only way I'll be taking photos. I still know how to take nice waterfall shots and sunset shots and beach shots, landscapes and all that, and I do enjoy those things, but that's not all there is. Following all those rules that people tell you about is not all there is. You can go way beyond that by ignoring all that stuff, going against the grain, so to speak, and finding different ways to bring feeling and mood and story to your photos, and that is really worth following. So whatever camera you happen to pick up, take it for a walk and have some fun.